Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'd love it if you could leave a comment letting me know where you're listening from around the world. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video. Story 1. I found the listing at 2:12 a.m. on a Wednesday night. Couldn't sleep, scrolling mindlessly through Craigslist while the city outside my window yawned and stretched in street lamp silence. The title read, Studio Apartment, Cheap, Quiet, Available Now. I clicked it because I wasn't even really looking for a place, not seriously anyway. But the rent was low enough to make me stop and blink twice. Lower than it should have been for downtown. Way lower. The photos were basic. One showed a small but clean kitchen, another the sleeping area, hardwood floors, cracked white walls. The kind of place that felt like a reset button. I replied, didn't even hesitate. Got a message back within 10 minutes. His name was Dave. Said I could come see it that afternoon if I was serious. I was. Something about the apartment. It called to me. I don't know how else to put it. Like it had been waiting. When I got there, Dave met me outside. Mid-40s, bearded, friendly in a weird way. Like he was performing normal. Smiled too wide. Laughed a half second too late. But maybe I'm reading into things in hindsight. He led me up to the third floor. Apartment 3B. It was my uncle's, he said, unlocking the door. Place has been empty a while. Kind of stuck in time. The apartment looked just like the photos, only dimmer. Stale air, heavy with something I couldn't name. The smell of time, maybe, or dust with secrets in it. Still, it wasn't bad. I told him I'd take it. He smiled like he knew I would. Oh, and the closet, he added, tapping a thick padlock on the door across from the bed. Don't worry about that. Just old junk. Locked it years ago. Never bothered with the key. I nodded. I didn't care. Rent was dirt cheap, and I needed a place, even if it came with a mystery padlock. I moved in the next morning. The first night, I felt it. Not something I could name. Not fear exactly. More like a pressure. Like someone watching, but from just behind a wall. Around 3 a.m., I woke up for no reason. I lay there, eyes wide open, and that's when I heard it. A whisper from inside the closet. At first, I thought maybe it was wind or neighbors. But it came again the next night, and the one after that. Always faint, always the same low murmur. A word repeated, too quiet to understand. The closet would rattle, gently like someone shifting inside. Once it creaked like it was breathing. Not the door, the closet itself. On the fourth night, I called Dave. Hey, I said, this might sound nuts, but is there anything actually in that closet? His voice changed, dropped flat, no friendly tone. Don't open it, he said. No matter what you hear, no matter what you think. Don't open it. I asked him why. He didn't answer, just repeated himself. Slower this time. Don't open it. I started sleeping with the kitchen knife beside me. Propped a chair under the knob of the closet door. I told myself it was just in my head, that I was psyching myself out. But when I'd wake up each night to that same whisper, the same word, I knew better. It was saying something, over and over. Help, help, help. I tried to drown it out with podcasts, but the whisper always found its way in, like it lived under the sound. Then, that night, I woke up choking on cold air. The closet door was open. The padlock was still dangling from the handle, swinging gently. No sound, just stillness and that same thick pressure in the room like it was watching me. There was a man standing inside, not moving, just standing in the shadows of the closet, inches from the threshold. He was pale, eyes too wide. He looked at me and whispered, "Don't leave me here again." I ran. I didn't grab anything, just bolted out the front door and down 3 flights of stairs like hell itself was after me. Called the police from a gas station. When they showed up, the apartment was empty. But in the closet, they found something. Scratches. On the walls. Hundreds of them. Some deep, like whoever made them had used something sharp. Others were shallow, desperate, like fingers. Years old, layer over layer. One of the officers looked pale. Said nothing. I tried calling Dave again. Straight to voicemail. I returned the next day to grab my stuff. The apartment was different somehow. Cold in a way that had nothing to do with temperature. I went to the leasing office to ask about Dave. To complain. To scream. That's when it all unraveled. There was no one named Dave listed as an owner. In fact, the apartment had been vacant for over 10 years. Last tenant, an old man named Bernard Kloss, found dead inside, in the closet, dehydrated, nails torn off. No one knows how he got locked in. No relatives ever came forward. They said it took days to get the smell out. I asked if there were any photos of Bernard. The manager hesitated, then pulled one out from an old file. The man in the closet. Same wide eyes. Same whisper on his lips. "Don't leave me here again." I never went back. I don't sleep well anymore. And sometimes, just sometimes, when the night is still and the city goes quiet, I swear I hear it again. That same whisper, from a closet that isn't even there. "Help! Help! Help!" Story 2. I thought it was a sweet deal. A vintage upright piano, free of charge. All I had to do was come and get it. The Craigslist post was short and strange. No pictures, no fancy wording, just free antique piano. U-Haul, must go by Friday. The kind of thing that looks too good to be true, but at the time I didn't care. I was broke, and I'd always wanted a piano. I imagined it would look great in my small apartment, maybe even help me unwind after work. I wasn't a pianist, not really, but I could plunk out a few notes. It felt like fate. The house was out in the country. A forgotten Victorian slouched at the end of a gravel road, hidden behind thorny trees and dead vines. The sky was gray when I got there, the kind of gray that sits heavy on your shoulders, like the sky's watching. An old woman answered the door. She didn't say her name. Her skin was paper thin, stretched tight over brittle bones, and her eyes were pale blue. So pale they looked almost white. They watched me in a way that made me feel like I was already part of a story I hadn't agreed to. "It's in the parlor," she said, her voice flat and dry. "Been in this house for generations, but no one plays anymore. It wants to be heard." That should have been the moment I turned around. Something in her tone, too casual, too rehearsed. But I nodded like an idiot and followed her in. The house smelled like rotting wallpaper and old wood. The parlor was darker than the rest, even with the windows. And there it sat, the piano. It was beautiful, deep mahogany, hand-carved legs, dusty but majestic, the kind of piano that had secrets. I ran my fingers over the keys. They were cold, like touching the skin of someone who'd been dead for a while. Some of the keys were yellowed, others chipped, but when I pressed one, it gave off a soft, aching sound. It echoed in the room longer than it should have. "She'll like you," the old woman said behind me. "Who?" I asked, but she was already walking away. I should have asked more. Should have said thanks, but no thanks. But the part of me that craved a story, something to shake up the dullness of life, won. That part of me loaded the piano into my friend's pickup. That part of me ignored how the house seemed to lean a little more as we drove off, like it was watching the piano leave. I brought it home, set it near the living room window where the sun hit in the mornings. For hours, I just sat and stared at it, proud and oddly comforted. I even tried playing a few simple melodies. The sound was rich, full. It almost felt alive. That night, I woke at exactly 2:33 a.m. My apartment was silent, at first. Then I heard it, a single note, the same one, over and over. Soft at first, then louder. I live alone. I thought maybe something fell on the keys. A cat I didn't own. A draft. Something logical. I crept into the living room, barefoot, heart knocking in my chest. No one was there, but the key kept pressing, slowly, deliberately, and then stopped as I entered the room. I unplugged everything, TV, Wi-Fi router, even the lamp, just in case. I went back to bed, but the music returned the next night, and the next, different this time. Notes stringing together like someone trying to remember a lullaby from long ago. It wasn't random. It had shape, rhythm, emotion. By the fourth night, I stopped pretending it was normal. The dream started after that. Always the same. A small child, maybe 6 or 7, crouched inside the piano. Her eyes wide with terror, her hands covered in blood. She scratched the inside of the lid, screamed without sound, pounded the keys from the inside. I woke drenched in sweat, convinced I could still hear her. Not just in my head, from inside the piano. I tried to get rid of it. Called a local moving company. The guy who showed up took one look and stepped back. "I'm not touching that thing," he said. "What?" I asked. He stared at the piano like it might reach out and grab him. My grandfather had one just like it. Said it belonged to a family that went missing. All of them, one by one, after they brought a piano home from an old Victorian house. He backed out the door without another word. I tried posting it online again. Free piano, U-Haul. No photos. I couldn't bring myself to take one. I didn't want to see what might show up in the frame. 2 hours later, someone replied. No name, just one sentence. It always finds someone. That night, I didn't sleep. The music played until morning. And this time, I could hear words in the melody. Soft, childlike. Let me out, let me out, let me out. I've pushed a couch in front of it now. Blocked it with bookshelves. Taped the keys. Prayed. Nothing works. I hear her every night. I don't know who she is, but she knows me now. Story 3. I was broke. Flat broke. That kind of broke where you ration instant noodles and pretend they're different flavors based on how long you boil them. College loans piling up, rent due, and no calls back from the half dozen places I'd applied to that week. So when I saw the Craigslist ad, $500 for one night of babysitting, no phones allowed, I didn't hesitate. It sounded weird, sure, but not dangerous. And I needed the money. The address was tucked deep in the hills outside town, the kind of place you wouldn't stumble across unless you were looking for it. A winding road, overgrown with trees, finally led to a massive house that looked like it had once been grand, but had long since given up trying to impress anyone. The paint on the shutters was peeling. The lawn was more weeds than grass. but I figured rich people could be eccentric, and $500 was still $500. A man and a woman answered the door, mid-50s, dressed like they were about to attend a funeral. Black clothes, not a speck of dust on them. The man had thin gray hair slicked back like an old movie villain. The woman's eyes never blinked. I swear I counted. "We'll be gone until sunrise," the man said. His voice was flat, almost rehearsed. "Just watch our son. Don't let him go into the basement. Don't ask questions. And under no circumstances should you open the front door. Not for anyone." The woman added, "No phones allowed. We'll leave you cash now. You'll get the rest if everything goes well." They handed me an envelope thick with bills, then turned and walked out the front door like actors exiting a stage. No smile, no goodbye. I stood there in the silence of that big house, staring at the stairs, wondering what kind of kid I was about to meet. I expected a toddler, maybe an awkward tween. Instead, I found a boy, maybe 10, maybe 12, it was hard to tell, sitting on the floor of a dark room upstairs, pale as candle wax, sunken eyes. He didn't look up when I said hi, just clutched a carved wooden soldier in his hands and stared at the wall. "What's your name?" I asked. No response. "You hungry?" Nothing. I tried again. "Want to play a game?" Still nothing. He blinked once. That was it. So I left him alone, sat in the living room with a book I'd brought, trying to ignore the creaks and groans the house made. Every once in a while, I'd check on him. He didn't move. Midnight hit like a slap. The wind outside picked up, and the trees clawed at the windows like they were trying to get in. Then I heard it. Tap, 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 at the front door. I paused, looked up. Figured maybe the couple forgot something. I stepped toward the door, but then I remembered what the man had said. "Don't open it." Still, curiosity is a stubborn thing. I tiptoed to the peephole and peeked through. No one. I turned back, uneasy, when the tapping came again, louder. Tap, 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 and then bang, bang, bang. I jumped. That's when the boy appeared, right behind me. No footsteps, no sound, just there, his eyes wide, voice barely above a whisper. "Don't look at it," he said. "It copies people." "What?" I asked, my voice shaking. He just kept staring at the door. "It gets closer when you listen. Don't let it in." Then I heard it again, my own voice, outside the door. "Hey, it's me," it said. "Open up, please. It's cold out here." Every hair on my body stood on end. I backed away. "That's not funny." "I didn't say anything," the boy said, eyes still locked on the door. "It learns fast." Then another noise. The creak of the basement door opening. I turned. The door was at the end of the hall. I hadn't noticed it earlier, but now it was cracked open, the darkness inside thick and hungry. "I thought we weren't supposed to go in there," I said. "We're not," the boy said, "but it wants us to." I tried to call the couple. Of course, no signal, no Wi-Fi either. The phone just showed a dead screen, like the battery had been drained even though it was at 92% moments before. Then the lights started to flicker. Dim bright, off, on. A cold breeze swept through the hallway, though every window was shut. Then came the laugh. High-pitched, childlike, but not right. It didn't sound like joy. It sounded like mockery, like someone pretending to laugh, like a tape of laughter being played backward. "It's in the house," the boy whispered. We have to go up." We ran to the attic. I slammed the door shut and locked it from the inside. The boy curled into a ball in the corner, still holding that wooden soldier. We sat there, trapped, as something walked the hallway below. Slow, dragging steps. Sometimes it stopped outside the attic door, scratching, sniffing, and then it spoke. It used my voice again. "I just want to talk. Please, let me in." Then it switched to the woman's voice. "Sweetheart, it's Mommy. Open the door, baby." The boy covered his ears. Then it was the man's voice. "Don't be afraid. We'll take care of everything." It knocked. Once. Twice. Then silence. We stayed in that attic until the gray morning light crept in through the window. When I cracked the door open, the house was still, quiet. The front door stood wide open. The couple was back, standing in the foyer. Same stiff posture, same blank expressions. "Did it talk to you?" the woman asked. I nodded, slowly. They looked at each other. "Then you're lucky," the man said. "It didn't like you enough to take you." I handed them the rest of their cash and walked out. Didn't ask for the rest of my pay. Didn't look back. Weeks later, I looked up the address. Found an article from 5 years ago. House destroyed in fire. No survivors. A couple and their son. Names matched the mailbox I'd seen that night. And yet, I was there. I saw them. Unless I wasn't supposed to.